Dima finished last season 7th in the world, and he did it without the Spirit Walk. So today, we're going to show you some of his attacks. What better base to start against than Stars? So in terms of the hero equipment Dima is coming in with here, you can see the classic combo on the King. We're running the Giant Arrow on the Queen because a lot of bases at the moment to defend the Spirit Walk are running these Invis Towers in the center. Then on the Warden, obviously Heal Tome and Eternal Tome. And on the Royal Champion, the Hogs are the best with the Electro Boots when it comes to most armies. So let's see what Dima does here to take down this base. So, got the Skeleton spell to tank for the King on the left-hand side, and what he's generally going to do is use the King, Queen, and Siege Barracks in some sort of order to set a funnel. So he's using the King and the Siege Barracks on the same side of the base here. The Queen on the other, you can see she activates that Invis Tower, and she's going to set a beautiful funnel up the top. The King's doing a great job on the bottom, and then all the time he's using the Royal Champion with the Siege Barracks. Doesn't really matter where it goes, because the P.E.K.K.A.'s tank amazingly for the Royal Champion, because the Royal Champion is outputting a ridiculous amount of damage with the Aura. So you just need her to be tanked for, because you know, she is a little bit weak if she gets targeted. So we've got a Rage for the Queen charge specifically. I really like that Dima does this, realizing the value of the funnel here. Because if he gets all his troops into the core, well, there's not really much this base can do. Now, the Invis Tower is just about to appear. If it did, we could have just used the Overgrowth on it. But thankfully, we got through the center of the base pretty quickly. And about the Overgrowth spell, that is going to be swagged in this attack. It's worth noting, I believe he has 7 healers. Well, it depends if there's been a Seek and Air Mine, but he can get up to 7 healers in this attack. He's got 4 in his army and 3 on his Queen, but a lot of the time, even though the Queen's used to set up a funnel, either the healers or her will go in. So you're going to get maximum value out of that. I mean, look at how many troops are up. Stars is running an anti-meta base, but old school Root Rider spam completely nullifies it. A different style of base here, but still equally toxic. Not sure what that barb was to do down there. Maybe testing where the Teslas were, and you're going to see Dima does change up where he comes in. So we're using the King and Queen together. I'd say that's the default. You have King and Queen on one flank, then Siege Barracks and RC on the other, and then obviously healers, Root Riders and Valks in the middle. King's setting a great funnel here. You can see the Siege Barracks on the top with the Royal Champion. There goes the Queen ability, damaging everything in the core. Obviously, when there's no Invis Tower, you're not going to get maximum value out of the Giant Arrow. But you don't know what sort of base you're running into, and there's a lot of Invis Towers in Legends League at the moment. So if you're not running into Invis Towers, you could probably bring the Magic Mirror instead of the or the Frozen Arrow instead of the Giant Arrow. But the Giant Arrow is still really good to have regardless. You can use it to snipe sweepers, which means your healers are going to be much more attached to your troops. By the way, look at this. The Royal Champion was one of the very first units deployed in this attack, but because the Siege Barracks does such an excellent job tanking, she's still full health, and if she's full health on the back end of this base, there's not really much the base can do to stop you, because the Royal Champion is so unstoppable with the Electro Boots. Even when the Electro Boots get a nerf, it just means that she's never wasting time. She's always doing damage. Well, I guess if she's in a tornado trap, she isn't. But this base is already wrecked anyway. Nice attack here from Dima, yet again getting the triple in about 100 seconds, which, when you've only got 30 seconds to plan, is kind of ridiculous. If you go to the Blueprint website, you'll see Dima is part of so many of these base packs. So if you want a base pack with Dima in it, this is the place. But if you don't need a whole base pack, you just want a single base, you can get a refurbished base from Dima. That's essentially a tweaked base, so it's kind of based on a base that's already been in the game, but edited to be slightly better and to bait the entries that were successful against the base. Or if you want a fresh base, you can get them from Dima in here as well. These prizes aren't definite. The currency of my country is kind of weak, so don't look into that too much. Now we have a compact diamond base, so a lot of damage in the core here. This is the sort of thing where I would expect the Root Riders to struggle a bit more, because there's just so much DPS all on the one tiles. We can also see that the Giant Arrow is not going to get anywhere near as much value. There's lots of builder huts spread throughout the base here, and I mean, no Invis Towers, but The King ability does nice work. Unfortunate that the multi-archer tower and the Expo stay up, but what can you do? The Royal Champion kind of gets sacrificed here. I don't know what he was doing with the Royal Champion. That was mean. That was genuinely mean and cruel. Doesn't even get her in the Eternal Tome ability, so yeah, not the best there. Just be careful of the fact that the Siege Barracks, the troops in that are going to target every building, whereas the Royal Champion's going to go forward to the closest defense. There were no defenses anywhere near the corner there. Maybe that was deliberately set up by the base, but as you can see, the Royal Champion with the ridiculous self-healing. I mean, it's kind of like when the Gauntlet was broken and it had self-healing. It made no sense. Like, the ability doesn't make sense why you would get healing from that. The healer puppet, it literally makes sense why you get the passive healing as well as the healers. But this makes no sense. Why is the aura healing? If so, why don't Electro Titans get self-healing as well? Anyway, completely unnecessary, but it definitely makes this attack work. Obviously, the self-healing's getting a nerf soon, but is it going to be enough of a nerf? I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out yet again. A ridiculous amount of troops up here. And worth noting, he's doing the Root Rider spam here without the Minion Prince. Now, a lot of you seem to think the Minion Prince is really good with it. I will respect your opinion because I'm not using Root Riders much, but it just makes no sense to me how the Minion Prince can be better than the Barbarian King, because the Barbarian King is insane. Obviously, the Minion Prince is nice for tanking air stuff, but if a Seeking Air Mine hits the Minion Prince, you know, the Minion Prince nearly gets one shot, so you don't really have a lot of control over the ability. Obviously, you can run the Owl with it, so it tanks one or two, but if you run into a lot of traps or a lot of air defense, I just don't know what the Minion Prince is meant to do, but clearly it's working for some of you. But as you can see, I mean, the King with the spiky ball is ridiculous, been getting consistently awesome value in this video, and if you're really worried about your healers, I mean, run the Healing Tome. Anytime your healers are taking a bunch of damage, you can heal them back up. There's only so many red air bombs on the base. Obviously, the fire spitters can hit them as well, but that's more random and bad luck than actual thing. And obviously, I keep saying obviously, the Dark Orb ability is nice, but just use the Overgrowth instead. It's not like you need that many spells with Root Rider spam, but maybe you guys disagree, and that's probably a good thing to see different approaches, even though it is Root Rider spam, to see different ways for people to take down the base. But you're going to see Dima is going to run over the back end of this base here. So yet again, congrats to Dima for getting a rank 7 finish. That's really tough. It still is quite luck-based in the sense that it's more made on defense than offense because most of the players are getting 320 every day. But it's still really well done from Dima. If you want to order some bases from him, he is part of the Blueprint team, so we are the best place to get some bases or base packs he does. He does plenty of base packs, as I've alluded to earlier in the video. But that's it from us. Hopefully you enjoyed the content, and maybe we'll see you soon.